Hi, I'm Jake from Get This Game, and you're probably here because you want to learn a little bit more about Widgets and Digits, a new game coming to Kickstarter designed by Joseph Bugbee with art by Alex Chang. Now, Friendly Bee Game Company sent me a copy to kind of test and play around with, so what we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit about how Widgets and Digits works, and ultimately try to figure out who this game is a good fit for and whether you should back it on Kickstarter. Now, a quick disclaimer off the top, as with many of these Kickstarters, I was provided a prototype for review, so the components that you see out in front of me right now might look a little bit different when the final product arrives. Also, if you do decide to back the Kickstarter, you're going to get the chance to access 2 of the expansions for the game, Boardroom Battle and Worker Wars, but today we're going to be walking through just what is considered the classic mode, the base game. In Widgets and Digits, you and your friends are taking on the role of startup founders, straight out of shows like Shark Tank or Dragon's Den. You have products to sell, and you're trying to generate enough net worth to make it through the 4 quarters of another fiscal year. Now, once you've given each player a player board, set up the marketplace with raw materials, parts, and finished goods in the market, as well as set up the upgrade cards, you're going to start by founding your company. Each player will make up a name for the product their startup makes, what it does, and a company slogan. While this doesn't have any material effect on the game or its mechanics, it is going to serve as your endgame scoring sheet, and whoever has the best widget and the best product to sell, as determined by the group, is going to get the first player marker. In each of the 4 rounds of the game, you'll be completing 4 phases where you will upgrade your supply chain and ultimately produce your goods. Beginning with the first player, you will each take individual turns, starting with the investment phase. This is your chance to upgrade your supply chain by purchasing upgrade cards. These cards will increase the capacity of your company to create and convert more goods. They'll also increase the value of your company overall, which is good for endgame scoring. The other thing you'll be doing in the investment phase is deciding whether or not to buy more goods from the marketplace. As with good old-fashioned real-world capitalism, the laws of supply and demand are in effect, so the more resources available in the market, the cheaper they will cost. Once you're done investing in your company, now it's time for production. Moving from left to right, you'll run all stages of your supply chain in order, taking the resources displayed on one end of the chain and converting them into new ones based on the number of icons displayed on the card. This is where your upgrades really come into play because, for example, even though I am able to create up to 2 parts resources right here, I'm still only allowed to turn one of them into a finished good. At the end of the chain, you'll get to convert your finished goods into $20 each, so you want to be working towards making a lot of them by the end of the game. Any resources you have left over can either be stored in the warehouse to use later or be sold back to the marketplace for their current value. Finally, for the upkeep phase, you'll pay $1 for every labor cost icon in your supply chain, as well as another $1 for any resources you have left in your warehouse. After those 4 rounds, you'll tally up your company's worth, including all cash you have on hand and the total resale value of all your upgrade cards. And whoever has the most money is going to win. And of course, new rules and layers are added to the game with the expansions. The Worker Wars expansion is going to see each player bidding on how much they're going to pay their workers and actually recruit them into their supply chain, because you need to meet certain requirements for each card. And the Boardroom Battle replaces a number of the upgrade cards to make them more challenging and have more player interaction. So some overall thoughts for me. Honestly, at first, I thought that the art style in the game was going to be a distraction, that it was going to be pretty busy and I wouldn't necessarily understand fully everything that was going on the table. But I will admit, once you have everything out in person, it's actually pretty easy to understand and separate all the different parts of the game. And of course, we have to acknowledge the awesome look of some of these cards and some of the jokes and humor found through it. And for us, we mostly played the base game to give you an idea of what you're going to get in that kind of base core experience. And I think as true gamers, at least in our household, I think you're really going to be able to take advantage of those upgraded expansion pieces that just add a little bit more complexity. There's some bidding, there's some more player interaction, there's some more things going on with the expansion. So if you are more of a core gamer, definitely add those into the mix. But finally, that brings me to who should get this game. And for me, this is going to be a gaming family's option for a light medium experience where you really want to start leveling up your game with other members in your household. If you're a parent who has shown your older children a few games that they've gotten and grasped, Widgets and Digits is going to be a great way to show them how some new core gaming concepts like worker allocation, engine building, resource management can kind of work off of each other. Of course, this also applies to relatively new gamers who are interested in seeing how some of these individual pieces can be put together and interact and work off of each other. So this has been Widgets and Digits by the Friendly Bee Gaming Company. If you're just discovering my videos off of their Kickstarter page, I invite you to subscribe and follow along. Follow me on TikTok at GetThisGame or Instagram at GetThisBoardGame, because we do a lot more overviews and game reviews like this, as well as plenty of roundups of games if you're looking to get more into the hobby.